So one other thing I wanted to talk about today is handling downswings. I recently, if you look at my results, I recently went through a pretty big downswing and managed to recover. One thing I noticed during my downswing is, I was definitely running bad. If you're a winning player and you're running average, you're just going to be winning, and you're not going to. The downswing doesn't come until you run bad, basically, unless something changes mentally in your head, or something in your game for some reason changes. And I don't believe anything did change in my game. However, when I did start to run badly, I found that I was blaming too much of it on run bad. Like, when you start running bad, it's only natural for you to start playing worse. I'm going to cold 4-bet with ace-4 suited against Roma here. I just think it's a good spot. He's 3-betting someone who folds to quite a lot of c-bets. Sorry, folds quite a lot of 3-bets on the button, and he's 3-betting quite a lot in the small blind himself, and folding to quite a lot of 4-bets. So I think it's a good spot to cold 4-bet bluff, added to the fact that I've been playing relatively tight on this table. But getting back to what I was saying, I found that when anyone's running bad, they obviously know they're running bad, but they kind of blame too much of their run bad on they blame too much on losing on their run bad, basically, if that makes sense. So someone will start running badly, and then they'll think, okay, well, I'm running badly, so I'm on a downswing, I'm just going to keep grinding it out, which is basically the attitude that I had, and it made my downswing last a lot longer. I think it's really important that you, as soon as you feel like you're on a downswing, you need to cut down on tables and review your game harder than ever, instead of kind of just trying to put a ton of volume in and just grind out that downswing and hope that the luck will eventually get away. Because I think, at least in my situation, what I found is I wasn't putting as much effort into my game, and I wasn't putting much effort into my play, because I just felt like, okay, this is just another downswing as per usual. I'm just going to put in a ton of volume and eventually I'll get out of it. And when you have that attitude, it kind of takes away from the fact that the game is skill-based, and it takes away from the fact that you actually need to know your edge and find your edge against your players, your opponents, and basically play winning poker to win. Like, you can't just grind out a bunch of hands if you're a decent player and expect to win money. You still have to be concentrating a lot at the tables. And if you have the attitude that it's just volume, you're going to assume that that's all you need to do is play hands and not play hands well. So I would suggest anyone who feels like they're starting to go on a downswing, or that, you've just dropped like 10 buy-ins or something at your limit, I would suggest that you seriously take the time, because it'll be worth it in the long run. You take the time to just back away from the tables, review your hands, review every session, play less tables, take more notes, and be more engaged in your play, rather than taking the attitude of just grinding out more hands. You need to realize that downswings don't actually exist. There's no point where something's just gonna something triggers and, okay, now you're gonna lose 10 buy-ins. There's no such thing as, oh, I'm down swinging at the moment. It's a silly thing to say, because your luck doesn't come in waves of ups and downs. You have just as much chance of winning one hand as you do the next. On a roulette wheel, to put it in a different way, this should be fairly obvious to most players, but if you're playing roulette and it comes 6 reds, there's no reason for you to now bet on black. There's no bigger chance that the next number that rolls off is going to be a black just because there's been 6 reds in a row. It's still going to be, roughly 50-50. So I say roughly 50-50 because of the zeros in roulette, obviously. But yeah, there's still just as much chance of it coming red or black. So that's just something important to realize, that you can't think, oh, I'm on a downswing at the moment, so you're expecting to lose every session you play. There's no reason why, if you drop 5 buy-ins 2 sessions in a row, that the next session, you're not still going to be downswinging, quote unquote. So it's just something else to keep in mind. Don't assume that you're on a downswing and then just assume you need to grind out hands, is my overall point, because that's the attitude I took, and it really made my downswing a lot worse, and made me lose a lot more money than I should have during my downswing. It was only once I'd lost too much money and put in too much of a sample that I kind of realized, too much of a sample that, I was actually break even for 100k hands or something. And it makes you kind of realize, okay, well, this is probably no longer a downswing. I've probably actually been tilting and making some mistakes. And when I reviewed my game, I was making a ton of mistakes, and it all came down to the fact that I was blaming it on variance and not taking the time to review my game.